Hello again and welcome to this YouTube channel. Okay, now we comes to the application. Okay, finding the optimization problem. Okay, in the sense of business oriented. Now, in a business oriented example. Okay. Now I choose quite a little bit tricky question. Okay, tricky doesn't mean that the solving part is difficult, but it means that uh, the complicated part of putting them together problems. Okay, that is the tricky part of this. Okay, but once you identify or once you utilize your knowledge, okay, and try to do it slowly, and then once you get the final mathematical formulation, then that will be easy afterwards. All right, so what is this question? Okay, so you have a demand equation. Okay, you have P, your demand equation, and then you have the average cost. Okay, it is not a cost, it is an average cost. All right, and then if you have these two particular relation, okay, and then you need to find the price that will maximize the profit. Okay, you can see there are few criteria there. Okay, the category there is different. Okay, the first one you have the price and then you have the cost, but then you need to find the profit. Okay, so we do it slowly. The first things first. Okay, let's say I want to introduce my profit. Okay, it's just a function of pi. Okay, just give one variable. You can choose other variables, doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just putting a simple the same variable altogether so that if you want to check into the calculus book, for example, you don't get confused. Okay, so we know profit is actually, okay, I put it over here. Profit is actually just the return, meaning that the value that you get. Okay, and then your return must be revenue in this case. Okay, your revenue, and then your revenue must be, you need to consider your cost, right? So your revenue must be, your profit must be your revenue, but then you eliminate your cost, that is the profit that you have. All right, so that is clear. Okay, but do we have a function of revenue? Do you have a function of cost? What you have is the average cost. And another one, what you have, this is a demand equation. Okay, now this is become tricky. First things first, we look back at the revenue. Revenue is actually, if you have a certain product, if you multiply the product with many quantities that you are able to sell, that is your revenue, right? If let's say I have 2 ringgit pencil, I want to sell like 10 unit of pencil, meaning that my revenue is 2 times 10, right? Meaning that I have 20 ringgit as my revenue. So the same thing happens here. Even though now my price, my demand equation now in a sense of function, but it is still a price that you need to consider, right? So I'm putting my P, actually my price. Okay, I multiply with my quantity Q. Okay, so from here now my price is not just a price anymore, it is a variable. It depends on certain other factors, for example. So I put my demand equation there, which is just actually a price, into my P equation, and then I do not forget my Q right now. And then now from here I know that my revenue function now becomes 42Q minus 4Q square. Now this part is clear. Okay, now whatever happen if we want to find the cost, this part, okay, the cost where we have the average cost, but we know average cost is actually just the average, like the average, right? Meaning that if you have this one C prime, this is actually just equal to C over Q. Okay, the average, if you are able to sell 10 unit, okay, unit, 10 unit is a quantity. So if you want to know exactly how many costs do you have, you just divide by 10, right? So the idea is like that. It's just that you extend your knowledge on your previous simplified version of your understanding of demand and supply, and put that into a mathematical equation. Okay, so in this case, you know that once you have this, so now your C is just a matter of you multiply your average C with your Q, okay? And then your CQ is just 2 plus 80Q, and then you multiply with your Q, and then now what you have is just 2Q plus 80. Okay, so I put that in this one because this is just the way for you to get back to your profit. All right, so actually your profit is just the implementation of your revenue minus your cost. Your revenue now is 42Q minus 4Q square, and then your cost now is just 2Q plus 80. Okay, so once you get that, you simplify this. I normally put according to how big is the power. So negative 4Q square, I put it first, and then plus 40Q. Okay, and then do not forget your negative there. Okay, negative 80. Okay, so this is your pi. Okay, so that not get you confused, I know that my pi is my pi representing the function of q. Okay, so this is my q. Sorry, this is my pi. Okay, once you get this, now we can start proceed with finding the maximum. All right, finding the f prime, f double prime, and so on. Okay, so how to do just about that? We put the prime over here. Okay, and then once we put the prime over here, this one you just simply do it like normal, and then this one you equal to 0, and then from here you know that your q equal to 5, and then you want to know the price, right? The price. Okay, so once you want to know the price, you go back to your original equation p, because p normally represent your price. So your p when your q equals to 5 is just 42 minus 4, and then times 5. Then now you get 22. All right. And then, is it enough? You already get your price, and you know that your price is the critical value for your profit function. All right. But is it a maximum value? Okay, that is a question, right? Okay, so once you want to find whether this particular critical point is it a maximum profit or not, then you go back to your pi prime, and then you double check your prime pi double prime q. This is what you get. So this is negative 8. So negative 8 is less than 0. And then you know negative when you have pi double prime, okay, that is less than 0, it will imply the maximum points, okay, the maximum profit. So in this case, you know that since pi double prime equal to negative 8 for your p equals to your your p equals to 22. Okay, so your profit function double prime negative 8, so this one is a maximum, so you can safely say that now your p is your price where your profit is maximum. Okay, so whatever it is, if let's say you want to sell your product, you need to sell your product in a quantity. Doesn't matter right now because we don't focus on the quantity, but the price, you need to price your price. You need to price your product in this form. Okay, that's when you get the maximum profit for your particular product. Okay, that your revenue and your costs will get it just match nicely. Okay, so normally this is what people do with the demand and the supply function. All right, if you look carefully again in the next, for example, if you want to go further and want to know a little bit more about business orientation, then you can talk about optimizing the product. You can talk about the demand and supply function. You can talk even about the utility function, which is a little bit tricky and a little bit difficult for you to move around with the variables. Okay, because you know in an business environment you are not dealing with just one particular product only. Okay, you are dealing with a lot more, and that is when the optimization um, getting more complicated and getting more involved with different kind of variables. Okay, normally in that sense we are having multiple, or we are having, we call that multi-variable problems or situation. Okay, so I hope this is some sort of like a window for you to peek through the more extensive problems in the real environment in the future. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next feature. All the best.